interested. Yeah.
And we've seen in the past with the shirt that we can see behind you on the background.
Yep.
That was an example to bring supporters together and feel as one. And
Yeah.
so as a player on the pitch, that your leadership would be projected out to the players. What can we do in this situation to get that feeling back? What does West Brom lack? What do West Brom need to get that feeling of togetherness? Is it playing on the pitch, or is it?
I think the first thing is the belief.
Yeah.
To achieve better than survive in the Premier League, and that's historical, to be honest, because the last 30 years, the main aim actually and target was survive in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So you need to find a point to change this by one day, and then build on it. Actually, the other thing is the ambitions. Yeah. Of course, what are our new ambitions? It can't happen that we are just surviving in the Premier League. And the other thing is the convictions. I'm convinced that I can achieve these new targets actually.
Yeah.
And that's very vital.
I think we saw that under Pulis, where the team constantly hit 40 points and then dropped off.
Yes.
And you could see it was like a cultural problem that, you know what, we've achieved the target, that's it. And no real drive to
but
go
then
forward.
I ask you, when you are a player and you have the target is 40 points and you have 38 by January, what are you doing then? Do you think you can change it like that during the season? No, you are off. You're just off one win, and then you are finished. But what's with the rest of the season? With 15 games left or so.
Does that hinder the coach or the head coach's ability to motivate the players? Or
yes, definitely.
Some responsibility fall on him to motivate them.
You need to understand the players' mentality actually.
Yeah.
Because when you're just in a team who fighting against relegation, you need to satisfy you in other areas, because you don't get the satisfaction on the pitch because you're just fighting football and not playing football. So they are looking and focus on the lifestyle, because nice restaurants, that's the satisfaction. So you need to turn around as a club and say, you get the satisfaction because we want to, in our club, because we want to reach as high as possible. We want to qualify for Europe. Maybe we win a domestic trophy or so on and so on.
Does that tie into the idea that money just doesn't buy success in totality?
Definitely not. Definitely not. So I think you can't buy effort. You can't buy effort. Yeah. You need to put the effort every day in and out, so you can't buy that.
The 2013 FA Cup final, that Wigan side, was that victory based purely on effort or preparation or planning? Because Wigan didn't have a team full of superstars. They hadn't invested millions of pounds at that time.
So I think that was the only time we could turn the belief, because Wigan also played always against relegation and for survival. They started to put in the song "I'm a Believer" as the Wigan song actually.
Or the Monkeys.
Yeah, but in my opinion, it was a negative believing,
Yeah.
So the FA Cup 2030 was the first time they put it in positive belief, and that's why we could win the FA Cup.
What was the feeling within the squad like to win the FA Cup but then get relegated? Was it more
catastrophic? It was horrendous. I wasn't at the tour of honor the last game after the last game of the season. I couldn't celebrate the tour of honor because we got relegated. Now when I look back, I should have done it actually. But it was an unlucky season because it was the only time the FA Cup was not the last game. No?
Yeah.
So I often think the clubs should be taking cups more seriously, because for clubs like ours, the FA Cup, the League Cup, they're a big chance of success. And then when you see weak teams put out, it's just...
And the most important thing, or the most satisfaction thing for a footballer is playing games, not training. The footballers hate training. Actually, they want to play games.
And if West Brom did focus on a domestic competition like the FA Cup, that could marry in with the potential to be in Europe because it automatically puts you there.
Mm-hmm.
But then when a club gets into that situation, again, a bit similar like Wigan, does the owner or the chairman have reservations about that ideology?
Yes, of course, because there is always a high risk when you have a certain amount of games, you get relegated.
Yeah.
The biggest fear in England for smaller clubs is to get relegated because there is so much money in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You don't get that at the European stage, you know.
Yeah.
Man, now it's a bit better than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think, of course, you can. Then you need to be super successful in Europe. Then you get the same amount of money.
And then you can invest that.
Yes, of course, and develop players.
Yeah.
When you develop players, and I think that's the only asset who is very continuous in the next few years in football.
Yeah.
Create develop players and sell them.
Yeah.
And what I said before, yesterday when we speak about the things about the interview, the largest asset of a club is the people, no matter what position. The best are always interesting for the market. It doesn't matter if it's the greenkeeper or anything like that or the player. The best are always interesting for the market.
Yeah. How difficult would that ideology be to be enforced at West Brom now?
It is a handful. No, both handfuls actually. Yeah, because you need to work constantly on it, you know. Yeah. And very structured and very let's say very powerful to change it as quick as possible. But it needs around 4 to 5 years, I think.
I know we're short of time, so I would like to press on a couple of other issues before we let you go. Yeah. You follow the Austrian Bundesliga, we follow the Croatian League very closely. How do we bridge that gap between the clubs in the smaller countries and those in the bigger leagues in Europe? Because like you see the reform of the Champions League, the gap seems to be getting bigger.
It is definitely. But have a look on Dynamo Zagreb. Actually, they compete in the Champions League, but they sell always the best players. You know, they have a transfer statistic, a transfer balance of what I have it in front of me. Just a moment. Croatian League, Dynamo Zagreb. 100 million the last 4 years,
and they've just qualified for the last 16 of the Europa League.
Qualified for the last 16, and that's a business case. Dynamo Zagreb is a business case. They develop players, sell them, but they're still competitive in football Europe, you know, and that should be the focus for any single club. Actually, you can be competitive on Europe football, and of course also when you sell your best players. But you need to have a focus on it, and that's a shame that the new technical director Dowling are not very focused on developing young players. You know.
Yeah.
I think to draw examples from the Croatian League, you look at Hajduk Split, and they change managers on a regular basis, and they've now fell away, and they're in fifth place, and that's what happens when you don't give managers time.
Yeah. And that's why it is so vital who leads the club, you know, who can handle stress and pressure, you know, when it is running not so good at the moment, you know, because you get certain times. But normally, if you have a strategy and you know what you need to work, you know, then it's very unusual that you have bad times, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Euros are coming up this summer. How do you rate Austria's chances?
Hopefully, but we have quite similar problems like West Bromwich supporters. You know, we always say Austria is so small. You know, we can't compete with the big countries. Yeah, but what is Croatia saying? You know,
yeah,
they're even smaller than Austria. You know,
can we do one better than the World Cup? Can we win it?
Why not? Actually. You know, you are actually a football country. Croatia is very good in developing players, So it's all in the head and in the imagination, actually, no?
Yeah, been an interesting
But
tournament.
you ended up third the last tournament, so
Second, we were on
second. Sorry, it's not second. Yeah, second. You were in the final. Unbelievable. Yeah. And how many? Is it 4.2 million? Croatians? Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Huh?
Brilliant achievement.
It just shows how much of it stems from here.
Yes, it's everything here. Yeah.
And the heart. You should play with the heart.
Of course, the heart for the football. You know. Yeah.
So that brings us to the close of the first part.
Yeah.
With Paul. Baggies fans, it'll be interesting to get your views and your opinions on what Paul has to say on the current situation at the club, and offer any questions that you'd like Paul to know, any opinions that you'd like him to know. And
have a look on my Twitter account. I will do some votings actually about the questions what I put together to get your impressions as a supporter, actually, how your feelings and so on and so on.
Yeah, and we have a plan with Paul to do a couple of more interviews in the near future as the season progresses in the final stage, and engage some support, engage ideas. It maybe engage the idea that anything is possible for West Bromwich Albion with the right leadership.
Start believing it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, Paul, before you go, can we stop up? Is it still on, or is it?
Yes. Yeah, of course. So you mean it's still on? Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Newcastle and Palace coming up in the next couple of weeks.
I think when we win against Newcastle, then the pressure is on Newcastle. I think Newcastle is struggling really. So I think they are really contenders for the relegation fight.
I like that you said when you win against Newcastle.
Yes.
Super. Right. Cheers, Paul.
Good.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for your time.
Speak to you soon. Bye, guys. Thank you for time.
Cheers. So that concludes our first interview.
Perfect.
We're grateful to Paul for giving his time up to spend it with us, talking all things football. It's just the first step in what we hope is going to be a long partnership.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So we need to get the supporters out of the holes, actually.